Hello.
Hello.
You can come on in this room over here.
Sure.
Just to let you know I do have a body camera on.
Perfect. I'm in a video as well.
Okay.
That's okay. I prefer you have a body camera. I'm just going to kind of turn on the video and point it up, you know,
Okay.
because it doesn't really matter. I have had a situation going on where I've called the police multiple times because I have a neighbor. Are you okay?
Yeah.
What's with the...
The weight of my...
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I want you to watch the body. Maybe I will leave this on because the body language of your officers is very troubling.
Okay.
In this body camera footage, I did also take video myself of these interactions with your officers.
Okay.
So I will be happy to send to you, to your chief, clear footage of exactly how your officers looked. And you already have how I looked.
Okay.
Everything that I did was fluid. Everything that I said was truthful. My gesturing matches my tone, matches my words. My stories have never changed. Your officers, though, were holding on to things for dear life. They were wringing their hands together. They were stuffing their hands in pockets. They were holding on to their stuff, like that stuff, but also holding on to a sign. And they were very combative and aggressive. And they weren't listening to what I had to say. They came to shut me down. And I'd like to understand what the heck is going on in Crystal Lake. Because I have a neighbor who drives drunk more than a few times a day on a daily basis. I have seen it. I know it. I've explained to your officers the reason that I know is because I used to lend her money for alcohol and I stopped. On the day that she took me to the ATM to go pick up money for her, and I saw firsthand what it looked like, and I saw exactly how intoxicated she was, and I smelled exactly how intoxicated she was. And after that day, every time I see her drive over a median, almost hit a truck, and this last time almost hit a person, I'm going to call the police. The only thing I have been accused of is accusing this woman of driving drunk and calling the police when I see it. And yet, 3 officers shut me down and told me that I need to leave it alone. That I'm some sort of, I don't know what it is that's being even suggested here, because the only thing that I have done and will continue to do is let you guys know when someone is driving unsafely. This last time, she almost hit a person. There were witnesses to it. And watching that body camera footage, I want you to watch your officers refuse to speak to those witnesses. And then the witnesses go ahead and talk to them anyway. 2 different witnesses, one that tells your officer, I see her drive drunk every day. Instead of your officer asking what's going on with that and saying, please elaborate, please expound, he instead says to her, why don't you call? And I tell him, because of this, you're very hostile. She's very hostile every time I call. I have video of her yelling and screaming at me. I'm being accused of yelling and screaming at her by your officers. I have video of it being exactly the opposite, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to see the video. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to talk to the witnesses. You can see it in the body cam. When the woman says, yes, I see her drive drunk every day. It's scary. It's bad. And then the people that she almost hit, because I didn't call 911 just to say I saw a drunk driver. I called 911 to say I saw a woman that I know to be drunk almost hit somebody. Instead of stopping and saying, are you okay? She stopped and yelled at me. Because I said to her as she started pulling, you almost hit her. She stopped and called me a fucking bitch and tore out of our parking lot. So I called 911, as I should, right?
Yep.
It's the right thing to do, right?
Sure.
So that's what I did. They asked for my name, and I unfortunately did not give it to them. Because previous to that, there had been an interaction where she had called you guys because I was apparently yelling at her. No, I was not yelling at her. I have video of it. She was yelling at me when I told her I was going to call the police again because I saw her almost take out a truck and that it was becoming a huge problem. I've never yelled at her. I've never screamed at her. There is no video of that. There are no witnesses to that. I've never done it. There is video of her screaming at me. There is video of her screaming in front of your officers at me. But nothing was done. It was made out to be my fault, that I need to stop escalating a situation. So I called the Crystal Lake police and I said, I just watched someone almost kill somebody. There are witnesses. There were a ton of witnesses. They didn't catch her. And I understand that they didn't catch her. That's fine. I didn't give my name. I just gave a description of her vehicle. I told them where she had left from, This woman is drunk. She almost just hit somebody. It's a problem. I understand that you guys didn't catch her. Fine. I didn't. The officer in this police report says that I was angry about it. I wasn't. I actually told him I understand. That's why when she returned back, I saw her pull in, and I knew her to be drunk, and I thought, wow, this time we're finally going to get her off the road, because there were witnesses to what happened, right? So I videoed her, and I have the video, and I'll be happy to send you all of them, where I say to her, she gets out of her car, and I videoed her specifically for you guys, because I was going to call you, right? I called and said, here she is, she's back. I took video of her so that you could see her getting out of the car, so you guys could prove she had just been driving. I gave you the evidence you needed, right? And I thought that's what I was doing. And so I videoed her getting out of the car. I said, Holly, you almost hit that woman, you know that, right? And she responded to me that she jumped out at me. So she admitted she had almost just hit a person. She was carrying a bag from the liquor store. Your officer in his report wanted to say that it was a brown paper bag. I never said anything about a brown paper bag. He deflects and says that he saw a Wendy's burger on top of a brown paper bag, so it wasn't a bag from the liquor store. No, it was a black plastic bag, and you could hear the bottles jingling around. But he didn't watch the video. He didn't want to watch the video, but he wanted to say that I told him about a brown paper bag, which I never did because there was no brown paper bag. He justified it by saying there was a Wendy's burger on top of it, and that's why it's fine, right? It was a black bag, and it was full of Bacardi bottles, like it always is, okay? We all know this. I'm the only person reporting it because she screams at me every day, calls me a bitch and a cunt because I call the police on her. And I'm being told by your officers, it's like you guys are treating me like I'm doing the thing that she's doing. What I'm doing is trying to protect my neighbors. She almost hit one of them.
Okay.
Now, did your officer, he didn't want to talk to the witnesses. He said they went upstairs. They obviously don't want to talk to me. He had just arrived. They were taking their kids upstairs. I said, we'll go get them. Didn't want to do that. Another neighbor came out. I said, you want to tell him what you see every day? And she said, yeah, I see her drive drunk every day. He wouldn't talk to her either.
Okay. Is this the
That's your police reports.
Okay.
In it, they talk about how I'm argumentative, I'm combative. If you watch the video, it's the other way around. Your officer says to me that...
Are you Rebecca?
I am.
Okay.
Your officer said to me, you're the first officer, that it was my fault. He told me that the reason that we can't get her is because when you called 911, you didn't give your name. And I said, oh, so you're saying, okay, so it's my fault. He said, that's not, we got all upset. I'm like, no, you're saying that because I didn't give my name, you guys can't get her. And so then he still kept fighting with me. I'm repeating what he said back to me in a very non-confrontational way. So I'm clearly listening. Because you know if somebody's listening and they repeat back what you're saying, they're clearly listening. And he just continued to accuse me of not listening. And I was like, how am I not listening? I'm repeating your words back to you. I'm listening to everything you're saying, sir. But he didn't want to hear what I had to say. He didn't want to hear what that person had to say.
It was just one officer that was on the scene?
No, there would be a second one who came in and did the exact same thing. What was really disturbing is that why did it take 50 minutes for that officer to be dispatched is what I'd like to know.
Depends on emergency vehicle.
Well, right, but if they had come out right away, they could have gotten her. Instead, they waited 50 minutes. Did I call them out on that? Was I yelling at him, saying you guys did a bad job? No, none of that. I was saying, can you please help us? Can you tell us what... But no, he just wanted to make it my fault. And then your second officer shows up, the supervisor, and he proceeds to tell me that he's already spoken to his officer. He already asked him what happened. He believes his officer, and he does not have time to speak to me. You can watch it in the video. Then he proceeds, because remember, he has no...
But you say... So the call was taken at 10:41.
No, that's not the correct one. That's a different call.
Oh, so a different
that's a whole
call.
different
Okay.
situation.
Okay.
I didn't get this for the second situation, and I have a feeling there's a reason for that.
Did you FOIA that one?
I foiled the whole thing.
Okay. And you haven't gotten
I just got this today.
this one today?
All of this. This is all gotten today.
Okay, so how many reports have you FOIA'd total?
I have FOIA'd the reports from these are two different incidences.
Okay.
I did get those. I did also get partial body cam. I did not get the body cam of what was said about me. I don't think that's fair. I only got what I said. They cut out all the things that she said. They cut out all the interactions with her. They cut out the interactions with the... So the problem is if the supervisor shows up and tells me I don't have time to sit here and talk to you. He tells me that he believes his officer, and he doesn't have time to reinvestigate what his officer has already investigated.
Okay.
So I let him
Who was
know.
that?
I don't know their names. They're on there, though. I let him know that I don't believe your officer did investigate fully because there is video he didn't watch. There are witnesses he didn't speak to. This sergeant just wanted to shut me down and tell me why I was wrong and how, no, you don't tell us how to do our jobs. And I'm like, there's evidence. And he said, do you have evidence of drunk driving? I said, there are other witnesses to the incident. I can't tell you what they would or wouldn't say, right? Like, I can't speak for them. You would need to interview them, but nobody wanted to do that.
But for her drinking, and I'm just trying to plain devil's
My
advocate.
issue here, no, I don't need to do that because we don't need to relitigate that. Okay. My issue here isn't whether or not she was drinking. I know she was, and I don't need to hear about why you did or didn't catch her. That's a whole separate thing. What I'm here to discuss is how they treated me.
Okay.
So
you're saying that they treated you...
They lied in that report.
Okay.
That report does not match the body cam.
Okay.
They also did not take me seriously, and they shut me down. I want to know why an officer arrived. The complaint is drunk driving. I called and complained that someone had almost been killed, by the way. Someone had almost been hit. So this is an emergency. This is an emergency, right?
Okay. Do you know what that police report number was?
It's all in there. This woman, the first report, that I didn't call on her that day. She called on me. And what did she call to tell them? That I'm videotaping her in the parking lot, and that's her big concern. So that officer also came out, and that's also a problem because I explained the entire situation to him, and then he treated me poorly as well, because guess what? All three of your officers walked away from me. I was not combative or rude with any of them. I just watched the videos. I was very calm. I treated them the exact same way I'm treating you right now, which I feel is incredibly appropriate. But all three of them walked away from me, and all three of them accused me of being argumentative. I want you to show me in that video where I was argumentative.
So this 16571 is where you're saying that it was 50
That's when
minutes
she
late?
called. No, this is the one that just happened. Yes, this is the one where it took them 50 minutes to get there. And the problem is your officers made a lot of admissions in what they were saying. They admitted that they had been on the phone with someone. Your officers, the only thing they wanted, this is what they wanted. They wanted to tell me to leave it alone. They wanted to tell me that I was escalating a situation. Escalating what? I'm not causing her to drive drunk. This isn't a neighbor dispute. This is she almost hit somebody. So escalate what? So how did they have that information coming into the call? That you're escalating escalating what? Where did that come from?
Yeah,
Where did they get that information from?
And
that's what I'm telling you, is that you're going to need to look at that, because how are they deciding already that it's an escalating situation and telling me that I need to leave her alone? To all your officers, I don't talk to her in any way except for to say, I saw you drive drunk. When she almost hit that woman, I yelled, oh my God, you almost hit that woman. Am I not supposed to do that? That's the only thing I do. I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
She's the one screaming at me, and I told them I have video of it. Do you want to see what happens? She screams at me. She calls me a bitch. She calls me a cunt. She calls me a liar. She says I'm crazy because I'm trying to get her off the road.
Yeah.
And so the only thing you guys have previously is her calling and saying I'm harassing her by videotaping her driving. Why else would I do that? What purpose do I have here? Like, I'm being treated like I'm some sort of drama queen who's picking at my poor old lady neighbor, when in reality I have watched her drive over a median more than once. I have watched her almost hit a truck more than once. And they keep saying, how do you know she's drinking? You know what? I don't know if she's drinking. I know that she drinks. I've seen it. But here's what I do know. I watch her stumble in the door. I watch her not be able to hold it open. I watch her fly through this parking lot. Her new thing that all the other neighbors are noticing as well, when she gets to my house, she stops and goes really, really, really slow, like 1 mile an hour, and then she flies out again. Because apparently she thinks if she drives slow, that I'm going to think she's sober. She's admitted to being on Xanax. She's admitted to being on pain pills. I don't call when I see her drive. I call when I see her run over a median or almost hit a person.
Okay.
I'm calling, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and all three of those officers treated me like I was the villain.
Okay. Rebecca, what is a good phone number for you?
815-527-1353.
Okay.
The only thing they cared about was identifying me. So your supervisor, when he showed up, he told me he didn't have time to talk to me. But then the two women who run our association were right there. And you know how homeowners association people are there like, hey, can we help? Like, we gotta help, we're involved. Like, so he went and talked to them instead. He went into their house. He talked to them, and I told them they're not involved in this. They weren't here. They didn't witness anything. The people who did witness the incident are over here. But he went inside their house because he didn't want me to hear what they were talking about for longer than he talked to me. So he tells me he doesn't have any time to spend on this drunk driver, but he had plenty of time to go find out who I was because I wasn't giving my name at that point. The only thing they wanted was my name. They wanted to shut me down, and they wanted my name. That's the only thing they wanted. He only cared about getting my name. And then luckily he came back, and the gentleman whose wife had just almost been hit happened to be standing right there, and I said, that's him. And then he went ahead and told him, yes, she almost hit my wife. He knows, he has 2 little kids that watched that almost happen. Little probably 2-year-old and a 7-year-old little girl watched their mom almost get hit by this woman. And I had a talk with them after, and they're like, oh yeah, we keep our kids away from her. We know. We see it. When her car is out, like, we hold on to our kids tighter because it's scary. Everybody sees it. Nobody wants to say anything. And then because I'm the one calling, I get treated like I'm like, I don't know, Gladys Kravitz or something. Now, the problem is Holly likes to tell people that the reason that she can do whatever she wants is because of who her son-in-law is. Because he owns all the bars, I guess. Now, I'm not making that accusation. I'm telling you what she says.
Okay.
What she says is the Crystal Lake police are in Paul's pocket. Nobody's ever going to touch you. But I can't help but feel a little sketch when I call with very good intentions, and this is how I'm treated. I was treated like I am the bad guy. I was told by all 3 of those officers to leave her alone. And to all 3 of them, you know what I said? I said no. Because all I am doing is telling her when I see her drive, telling her that I'm going to call the police, and calling the police. Those are the only things I do. Even she has never accused me otherwise. Even she is just calling, she's videotaping me again. You guys should be thanking me for that, right?
Well, we like to see the violations.
Those officers should have been thanking me for my care, right? Instead, they wrote down that I was being combative. Instead, they wrote down that I was talking over them. I didn't talk over them. They talked over me. I was very calm. I was very passionate about what I was saying, just like I am right now. And all they wanted to do was shut me down, make me the bad guy, and I don't know what's going on here, but it's not right.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I won't comment on it until I obviously
And I
go
don't
through
expect you
everything.
to. That's why I'm here to give you the information.
So this is yours. I will give you this back. I will
Right.
write down both report numbers. I can have this.
Nope, this is mine. I paid for it. You guys gave me this.
Well, can I? You want me to look at the video from it?
Yeah, but you guys have that, don't you?
Did you?
I got this from you guys.
Okay, so you gave it to us already.
This is. Oh, I can email that to you.
Okay, I thought you said that you had video.
Yes,
Okay.
I can email you because I want you to see the body language of your officers.
Okay.
Like, I'm a very sensitive person in that I pick up on cues very quickly. I grew up with narcissists. I can collect things very, very quickly. Their body language does not match what they're saying. They are both, if you, like, when I would pause the video as I was watching it, the faces that they're making, they're both angry. There's no reason for them to be hostile with me. I didn't treat them hostilely, and I'm not calling to be hostile. I'm calling to get their help, right? But they were both argumentative with me, right? All 3 of them were argumentative with me right off the jump. Now, what I also want to say is this first officer, the one who came when she called, that I have a huge problem with. And that he came and talked to me, and I was
That's on
like,
this first report.
first report that she
Okay.
made that I was videoing her in the parking lot, which good, Rebecca.
Is that this first report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it up, Rebecca. That's great. Keep doing it. That's wonderful. No, that's not what I got. I got you need to leave her alone. But then the thing was, is when I came, because I came out to walk my dog, and I saw her standing there with an officer, and I was like, what? What did she even say? Like, she was wearing a mask, and I know why. Because I know she was drunk. I know, because she's drunk all the time. She stumbles down, she yells at people, I feel bad for her. I want her to get help. I don't hate her. I want her to get an interlock device in her car so that nobody dies, is what I want, okay? Now, I see the officer, he comes over, and as he and I are standing there, she starts screaming at me, and it's on video, "Don't believe her, she's a liar!" Like she does, because that's the one, she screams at me. He hears that. She's standing there wearing a mask, screaming at me from down the sidewalk. And when I say to him, then she gets in her car. And I say to him, oh my God, you're going to let her drive? And he said, how can I not? She's wearing a mask. I said, she told me it was because she wasn't feeling well. Clearly she's feeling fine. She can scream obscenities at me down the sidewalk. That's reasonable suspicion. I know the difference between reasonable suspicion and probable cause. I know you can't arrest her on that, but I know you could definitely pull her over. She's masking her breath. She's screaming. She's acting foolishly. You could absolutely, and I said to him, and if he had turned around, and this is why I needed this today, was because I wanted to see what he did, because I wanted to prove it, because if I just said it, it wasn't good enough, in my opinion. When I was discussing with him that he needed to watch her drive, that he needed to turn around and see her, like, watch, she's already doing it, because she did the cha-chunk that she does, like she gasses and goes, she can't even figure out how to use her car. Your officer didn't even turn around to look. He didn't even turn around to look, and I'm saying to him, oh my God, officer, please watch her drive. He didn't even turn around.
Okay. This was the first incident?
The first one.
Okay.
Wouldn't even look at her. If he had turned around and looked at her and seen the way she was driving, mixed with the mask that she had on her face, mixed with the obscenity she's screaming at me, he could have easily pulled her over. Easily said, we're gonna do some field sobriety. You know what? She would have failed. And then they would have breathalyzed her, and she would have come to jail, and maybe she would have stopped driving. But instead, now the next time, because remember that happened, now here we are the next time, and now she almost hit somebody. So it's escalated. If he had stopped her then, this new situation wouldn't have happened. And it's not just my word. It's on the body cam.
Okay.
You guys
we don't know that.
witnesses.
I mean, we've had people get arrested for DUI, and then they go out and repeat it, and then they go out and repeat it, and then they go out and repeat it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm saying we can't say that the incident wouldn't have happened, but we can say that it might have.
you would have done the
occurred
right.
to
You would have done the right
situation.
thing. You would have done the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing the right thing. I felt like I've been treated hostilely. I feel like I am not being viewed in a very positive light, that's for sure. But you know what? I know that what I'm doing is right, and I'm going to continue because I watched her almost hit someone. I'm talking this far away,
Yeah.
and it's not just me saying it. I also let your officer know. This gentleman, the first one before this. I let him know that this woman saw it too, right? Wouldn't talk to her. And then I let him know that the people he didn't want any part of it. He didn't want to hear anything that went against, you need to leave this alone. That's all he cared about. You need to stop escalating. At that point, he hadn't even talked to this woman yet. So how can he even say that anything's been escalated? Where did that information come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not asking you to answer.
Yeah.
These are the questions that I'm posing to you that I have that I'd like you to answer for me once you see the comprehensive view of the information. Because I'm not going to stop.
Do you want my email so that you can
Yes,
send me
that'd
those
be
things?
great.
Okay. You want me to put it on here?
Yeah, just write down there. That's perfect. Because I'll send you the video of me and my interaction with her. Because all I was told by all three of your officers was you need to leave her alone. Do you want to see what and I said to your officer, do you want to see what I do? I have video of it. Do you want to see what I say to her before you tell me how I should behave? Do you want to see how I was behaving? No, we already heard. Well, the other thing your officer wanted to tell me, this sergeant, and again, very perceptive. The other thing he wanted to tell over and over again, I'm a big boy, I make my own decisions, and then he went into this whole long diatribe, even though I wasn't letting them speak, right, but they both soliloquied quite a bit. He went into this whole thing about how no matter what anybody tells me about you, I'm going to come up with my own interpretations. And I was like, what are you talking about? Who would have said anything about me? And I thought, because it seemed like he was talking about the association people. And he was like, did they say something about me? He said, no, they didn't. I'm talking about anybody. So now I'm starting to wonder if what I was warned about is true. Because I think in that 50 minutes, there was another phone call that was made. And if you guys are protecting bar owners' mothers-in-law from driving because he says I'm a mean drama queen, we're going to have some problems here. Because I have every single receipt. I have every single bit of evidence. The only thing I have done is try to keep a drunk driver off the road, and I feel like I'm being villainized by the Crystal Lake Police Department.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I will be taking this public if this isn't dealt with.
Give me several days, right? Obviously, we're going through all that video footage. I'm the only supervisor on duty right now. I'm covering the afternoon shift from 1 to 11.
I understand that. I'm not asking for you to jump through a hoop. I will give you as much time as you need. I'm not an unreasonable person. I've been made out to be one several times, and I think that's very unfair because I understand you guys have a lot to do. I understand that you have and I told your officers in this footage, I understand that. I kept saying that, I understand. And this is what I did. So it wasn't like I was fighting with them that they had done something wrong. I was defending what I had done. I felt like I had to defend the fact that I called the police when I saw somebody almost get hit by a car. You guys have been in my life many times, the Crystal Lake Police, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively. It's been very negative, mostly. I need you to understand that you guys came when my dog got hit by a car right in front of me on that very road. I have PTSD diagnosed because I watched a dog get hit literally right in front of me. And I watched that woman almost hit someone right in front of me. I was triggered out of my mind dealing with PTSD. So I want you to realize that when you're watching this and you see how I react, which is calmly, eloquently, passionately, know that I was triggered out of my mind. I really should have been sitting inside, crawled in a ball, because seeing that had me triggered to a degree I can't even describe to you.
This is video that you sent
No, this is your video that you guys just gave me. This is the body cam video.
that they gave you.
My
Okay.
video is in my phone, and I'll be more than happy to email you.
Those are what you're going to email me from your
So
perspective.
you can see.
Okay.
So you can see what I saw when I looked at those officers, and you can see the one who kept pointing at me. He kept pointing at me like this and kept telling me, "You need to listen." And I'm like, "Sir, I'm repeating back to you what you're saying. How am I not listening to you? You're not listening." And then he walked away. And then the next officer comes, and I say to him, "Your officer walked away from me." And he's like, "Well, were you being argumentative with him?" And he said, "No." "Well, that's not what I was told." "Well, have you watched the video yet?" "I don't need to watch the video. My officer told me and I believe him." "Well, then why are you even here? You're not going to talk, like, if you don't want to talk to me." But then he did want to talk to the association people, and I asked them, "What did he want?" He wanted your name, because I wouldn't give it to him. That's the only thing he cared about, was getting my name.
Okay.
So at this point, this isn't the first time this has happened with you guys. I had a situation a couple of years ago where I called you because the neighbors across the hallway were beating the shit out of their 1-year-old baby. And I had video of it. I could hear it from outside in the hallway. I videoed it. Your officers came, they wouldn't even listen to the video. They told me that the people told them that they had slapped the 1-year-old's hand, and that's all that they were talking about. I said, "Listen to this video, you'll know." It was 2 weeks later, the kid's forehead got burned off. And he got carted out in an ambulance, and the DCFS gave him back, and then those people moved out, so I have no idea what happened. I was treated that day like I was a Karen as well. I have video of that too. And then 5 years ago right now, I called y'all because the maintenance guy in my condo complex was stalking me and threatening me. So I called, and Ken Ellinger, who I know doesn't work here anymore, came, and when I let him know that this man's making death threats against me and I want to file a report so I have something on file, he took my phone, and I have video of this too, scrolled through it and said, "I see where you've responded to him, so if you want a man to leave him alone, leave you alone, you can't respond, it's your own fault." Then I let him know I was videoing him, and he threatened to arrest me. And it became a whole huge extravaganza, and he actually got in trouble for that. I did speak to your chief. I've talked to your chief before. You know, I've had a conversation before, and I think it's time we have another one. Because it seems like the Crystal Lake Police has a very long history of treating me like I'm a Karen. And I'm not okay with that, because sometimes it's child abuse, sometimes it's drunk driving, and sometimes it's my own safety. But whatever I say seems to fall on deaf ears, and I'd like to find out why that seems to be a recurring issue here.
I will get on all those.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's a lot, and I apologize, but there's no way I'm going to let this go.
Give me some time. I have your phone
Take
number.
your time. And what is your name? Did you write it on? It's, well, Matt's.
Yep.
Okay, so perfect.
Yeah, so I will look into that. So obviously, like you said, it's going to take me some time to go
I
through all
appreciate that. I don't.
And then I will call you back, and maybe we can probably sit down again.
Yeah, well, like, because there was one point in the video where it was like anything I did, they were so quick to jump on it. Like, their kids, the kids of the mother who almost got run over, were sitting on the curb, and I was chatting with them while he was finally talking to the dad. And the only reason he talked to the one witness is because he happened to pull up. And I was like, "That's him, you have to talk to him now, otherwise they weren't going to do it." Lucky timing is what it was. Otherwise it wouldn't have happened, and it would just be my word.
Okay.
But it's not. And so what I did is, he's asking him, he said, "Did she stop? Did she apologize?" And he said, "She stopped, but she didn't say anything." And I said, "Yes, she did. She said, 'Fuck you, you fucking bitch,' to me. And the only thing your officer wanted to talk about was, you shouldn't talk that way in front of children." What did I say back to that? "You're right, and I'm sorry," is what I said, because it was incorrect. I didn't think about it when I repeated, but that's the only mistake I made, and I owned up to it. I immediately said sorry, because he was right, I shouldn't have done that. But he was so quick to jump on that.
1 second.
I'm sorry.
271, go ahead. Time for. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So anything that, and then he wanted, he said, "What did you originally call about?" And I said, "Drunk driving." And he said, "Well, what's your proof of drunk driving?" And I said, "Okay, I saw her almost hit a person, so I guess that's reckless driving." "Oh, now it's changed. Now it's reckless driving. Before you said drunk." Really? Really? Whatever they could say to shut me down is what was going on. They didn't want to hear anything anybody else had to say.
Okay.
So I will be waiting for you, and I will, based on however this goes, I have sent this to people, and I will take it public if I have to, because if somebody watches these videos, it's not going to go well for you guys. It's not. It doesn't look good. So I'd rather deal with this with you and have you give me a decent resolution, but I will take it public, and I will not stop. Because the only thing I want out of all of this is safety in my community.
Right, I can respect that.
I watched some of those kids.
Yep.
They're witnesses. And what does he write? What does he write? He writes, let's. Prior to ending the conversation with Rebecca, I advised her that no crime was committed. There was no enforcement action to be taken, especially if she refuses to identify herself. So that's the only thing he cared about, was that I didn't identify myself. I know what reasonable suspicion is, and I know that if I call 911 and say I just witnessed someone almost hit somebody, you don't need my name for reasonable suspicion.
So just to kind of let you know there, so the Illinois Supreme Court has ruled that if somebody calls in, like let's say you're on the street or on a driving complaint, they have to give specific reason. They just can't say they're driving crazy or whatever. They have to give specific, like they're crossing over the yellow line.
I did that.
No, what I'm saying. And then they have to be identified so that they can go to court later. If they're not identified, we can't stop that vehicle. The Illinois Supreme Court has told us that we cannot stop a vehicle unless there's an identified complainant, and that we can verify with them. So if they have to go to court,
I understand
they
that
don't
now.
have to-
Then you should really, the 911 dispatcher should probably tell people that. That should probably be the point of contact where that's given.
Well, it's hard because they're not.
Well, once you
they
asked for
don't
my
know
name and I
laws.
said no, but that's not the point, is that they just wanted to make it about me.
Right.
And I didn't say you guys did bad. I didn't say you did wrong. I didn't even yell at them that they took 50 minutes. He told me, there are 7 officers here and 2 supervisors. What do you expect? We're busy. I didn't say anything. I didn't come at you. I didn't make an accusation. I didn't say anything negative about anything. I wasn't accusatory at all. I was more concerned about her and the driving. I wasn't concerned about the response until the response became this.
Okay.
Because it wasn't right.
Okay.
And it's still not right. And you'll see.
Okay.
And we'll talk about this again.
But if you do call in the meantime,
Oh my
I would just say just leave your name though, so that we can follow up. And the officer should be following up with you, so that if we do have to stop the vehicle, that
Well,
that person
they
can
kept
go.
telling me that I needed to stop escalating, and I explained to them that in the 50 minutes that it took them to get there, her daughter showed up on scene. I've never met the woman in my life. She stood at the end of the sidewalk and screamed at me in front of everyone. So there were witnesses to this as well. I'm a bitch, I'm a cunt, I'm crazy, I need to get away from her mother, called me fat, told me I need to keep, because this is the thing, I walk. That's what I do. My community, little condo complex, I walk in circles. I have been since, it's been 15 months now, I've lost 110 pounds. So you know what? I see everything. So they wonder, they think I'm just some kind of rebel-rousing, Karen or something. No. I walk 2 hours a day. So I see everything that happens. And when I see her running shit over every day, I see it because I'm outside. It's not because I'm a drama queen or a Karen. It's because I'm there and I see it. And I'm not gonna, there is no part of me that is gonna stop calling the police. And what he said to me is, you leave her alone, you just need to call us. And I said, I did call you. Because you're not a police officer, you can't do anything. You guys don't do anything to her. So at least when I say I'm gonna call the police, at least she knows that I see her. It's the only thing I've ever said. She knows that I see her because I tell her I see her.
Okay.
I'm guilty of nothing else.
All right, Rebecca, I appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you listening to me, sir. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to getting some kind of resolution. And that brown paper bag thing really bothers me,
Yeah,
and I
I'll
want
look
that
into
addressed because I said nothing about a brown paper bag. It was a black plastic bag.
Okay.
And if he had watched the video, he would have seen that. Because I have video of this woman he says that she didn't show intoxication. That video says otherwise. And the people that I've shown it to say, that woman seems looped. She's never not looped. It's sad. It's all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to hate on her. I don't hate her. I used to give her money. I tried to be nice to her. I tried to help her.
Right.
I don't confront her. I wrote her a letter. I wrote her a really nice, heartfelt letter letting her know that, like, Holly, the drama that you're causing isn't going to help anything. You're not going to find this in a rum bottle. Like, I'm not going to say anything to your family about you. I think that's what you're afraid of. I'm not going to do that, but I need you to get help. Love yourself. Like, please,
Okay.
So to be treated like this is really disappointing because all I am doing is trying to get her help and trying to keep her off the road. And then I read this kind of stuff and I watch videos of me being treated like that, and I'll tell you what, you guys want people to respect the police, right? It's not gonna happen that way.
Like I said, I'm sorry that you.
No, it's not you.
Something go through,
It's
but
not
I
you.
will look at it on my end and
Yeah.
I'll give you a call.
I appreciate it.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate your time and I hope that you have a really good day.
Thanks, you as well.
Thank you.